Hello, and welcome back. Today we continue with Stranger Things, Season 1, Episode 7. Get comfortable and enjoy a deeper and more immersive version of the story. The story continues in the town of Hawkins, where everything now feels heavier, darker, and far more dangerous than before. On the surface, the streets are quiet and almost empty, and the houses look the same as always. However, this silence is not peaceful at all. Instead, it feels tense and uncomfortable, as if the entire town is holding its breath and waiting for something terrible to happen. People sense that danger is close, even if they cannot explain where it comes from or when it will arrive. At the laboratory, Eleven wakes up completely alone in a place she does not recognize. She slowly opens her eyes and blinks several times because of the strong white light shining about her head. On the surface, the streets are quiet and almost empty, and the houses look the same as always. However, this silence is not peaceful at all. Instead, it feels tense and uncomfortable, as if the entire town is holding its breath and waiting for something terrible to happen. People sense that danger is close, even if they cannot explain where it comes from or when it will arrive. At the laboratory, Eleven wakes up completely alone in a place she does not recognize. She slowly opens her eyes and blinks several times because of the strong white light shining above her head. For a moment, she feels confused and lost. She realizes that she is lying on a narrow bed inside a small white room with cold walls and no windows. The air smells clean and empty, almost like a hospital room. Her head hurts badly, and her body feels weak, heavy, and exhausted, as if all her strength has been taken away. Eleven carefully sits up on the bed and places her bare feet on the cold floor. The cold makes her shiver. She touches her head and feels a sharp pain spreading through her body. As she slowly looks around, she notices strange machines, long wires, and blinking lights on the walls. Nothing looks familiar or comforting. She does not understand where she is or how she got there. Fear slowly grows inside her chest and makes it hard to breathe. In a quiet and uncertain voice, Eleven whispers, "Where am I?" Her voice sounds small and fragile in the silent room. The sound of her own voice echoes softly. For a moment, there is no answer, and the silence feels frightening and heavy. Soon, a man enters the room quietly and closes the door behind him. He wears a clean suit and carries himself with calm confidence. His face shows a polite and controlled smile. He speaks in a soft, careful voice, as if he is trying not to scare her. "You are safe now," he says slowly, as if these words should bring comfort. However, Eleven does not trust him at all. Her eyes remain wide and alert, carefully studying his face and his movements. Even though the man smiles, she senses danger deep inside. Her body becomes tense, ready to react if she needs to. Eleven asks again, more quietly this time, "Where am I?" The man smiles once more and replies, "You are home." These words confuse Eleven and make her feel uncomfortable and uneasy. This place does not feel like home to her in any way. Her thoughts immediately turn to Mike. She thinks about Dustin and Lucas as well. She remembers their voices, their faces, and the way they looked at her. She wonders if they are safe and if they are looking for her. Her heart feels heavy with worry, fear, and sadness. Meanwhile, back in Hawkins, the boys are together again. Mike, Dustin, and Lucas sit at school, but they cannot concentrate on their lessons. They stare at their books and desks, pretending to listen. They speak in low voices, making sure that no one else can hear them. Their faces look serious, tired, and older than before. Mike finally speaks and says, "I know she is alive." His voice is quiet, but it is filled with certainty and hope. Dustin nods and replies, "I feel it too. I really think she survived." Lucas adds firmly, "We have to find her, no matter what happens." Together, the boys create a clear plan. They believe that the laboratory is hiding the truth from everyone. They decide to watch the lab closely and learn everything they can about it. Although they are afraid, they also feel brave and determined. They know that stopping now is not an option. At the same time, Joyce stays very close to Will at home. For a short moment, Will seems better and his breathing is calm. However, his body is still weak and his face looks tired. He sits quietly on the couch and tries to relax. Joyce watches every movement he makes, afraid to miss anything important. Will looks at Joyce and says softly, "I saw it again." Joyce immediately feels fear rise in her chest. She tries to stay calm and asks carefully, "What did you see, Will?" Will takes a deep breath before answering. He explains that he saw the dark place again. He saw shadows moving along the walls. He felt cold air surrounding his body. In a quiet and frightened voice, he says, "It is still with me. It did not go away." Joyce hugs Will tightly and refuses to let go. "You are safe here with me," she says, trying to sound strong. However, deep inside, she knows this is not completely true. She feels helpless and scared, and her hands begin to shake. Hopper continues his work around town without rest. He speaks to different people and follows every possible lead. He checks places again and again. He searches for answers with growing urgency. He knows that time is running out very fast. Later, Hopper meets Joyce at the house. They speak seriously and quietly, so Will cannot hear them. "We need to act fast," Hopper says. "We cannot wait any longer." Joyce agrees and responds, "Yes, we have to protect Will. We cannot lose him again." Back at the laboratory, 11 is tested once again. The men ask her to sit in a chair in a large empty room. They ask her to close her eyes and focus. They want her to use her powers and reach far places with her mind. As 11 closes her eyes, strong pain fills her head. Her face tightens and her breathing becomes fast. She sees strange images and dark places. She hears sounds that feel distant and unreal, like echoes from another world. She sees Mike, she sees Dustin, she sees Lucas. She sees them standing together and calling her name. Seeing them makes her feel deeply sad and lonely. She misses them more than anything. 11 whispers, "Mike." Her voice shakes slightly as she speaks. The men do not respond to her words. They only observe her closely and write notes, watching every reaction. Later, 11 walks slowly through the long, bright hallways of the laboratory. The lights above her head are strong and cold. She listens carefully to every sound around her. Whenever she hears footsteps, she quickly hides. Her heart beats very fast with fear and excitement. Suddenly, a guard notices her. He shouts loudly, and his voice echoes through the building. 11 begins to run as fast as she can down the hallway. Fear pushes her forward, even though her body feels weak and tired. Using her powers again, 11 pushes the guard away with an invisible force. A sharp pain explodes in her head. Blood starts to run from her nose and down her face. She feels dizzy, but she forces herself to keep moving forward. Back in town, the boys ride their bikes near the laboratory. They hide behind trees, fences, and parked cars. They watch the lights and the guards carefully. They are frightened, but they feel stronger because they are together. "This is where she is," Mike whispers with confidence. "We have to be very careful," Dustin replies. Lucas nods silently and keeps watching the area. Suddenly, soldiers arrive with bright lights and loud sounds. Cars stop quickly and doors open. The boys hide even better and do not move. Their hearts beat loudly in their chests and their hands shake. At the same time, Joyce and Hopper prepare to leave the house. They gather what they need and get ready to search for answers. They know danger is close. They are ready to fight if it becomes necessary. Will suddenly feels cold again. His body begins to shake and his face turns pale. He closes his eyes and sees the dark place once more. He feels the monster very near, closer than before. In a frightened whisper, Will says, "It is here." Joyce holds him tightly, trying to keep him warm. Hopper stands nearby, ready to protect them both. Back at the lab, 11 reaches a door at the end of a long hallway. She opens it slowly and carefully. For the first time since she woke up, she sees the outside world. The night air looks dark and open. Hope fills her heart and gives her new strength. Suddenly, loud alarms begin to ring. Red lights flash throughout the building. Guards start running in every direction and shouting orders. 11 runs as well. Her legs hurt and her body feels exhausted. Her breathing is heavy. However, she does not stop or look back. She escapes into the cold night. Fresh air touches her face, and she breathes deeply. For a brief moment, she feels free and alive. 11 runs into the forest and hides among the trees. Branches scratch her arms and legs. Her breathing is heavy, and her entire body aches. Even so, she feels a strong sense of relief. In Hawkins, the boys suddenly stop riding their bikes. They feel something change in the air around them. "I feel her," Mike says quietly. "She is close. I know it." Joyce and Hopper drive quickly through the dark streets of Hawkins. They know that time is short. They are ready to do anything to protect Will and stop the danger. The episode ends with danger everywhere. 11 is free, but she is still not safe. Will remains connected to the dark world. The town of Hawkins is in serious trouble. This was the end of episode 7 of season 1. The story becomes darker and more intense. In the next episode, everything will change. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode.